So I had Catholic education, grade school, high school, and college, and I see a difference being an employer and somebody who hired people. I see a difference in products of the Catholic education, the critical thinking that comes out of the Catholic schools, and the ability to give back to your community and the ownership over that. I don't think can be matched. You can see the difference. My dad worked at GE, and we lived near Ricardo's, so he walked every day. We had one car, and he walked every day. And while we were young, my mom was at home. She was a housewife while he was working when we were real young. And when we got a little older, I was probably in high school, she went back to work at night at Hammett Mental Health. So, the majority of that money went towards, our education. Could they have been better off? Could we have taken vacations, more vacations? Maybe, but as kids we never thought about it because we never felt like we were less than or we were missing out on. But now as a parent, I know what they sacrificed to do that. When I made my first confession in grade school, I came home and I don't know what I did. I don't know if I lied, if I did something. My mother made me go back because it was your first confession and you were going to make your first communion. And so I had to go back and tell it again. So I think it's that strong faith, it's that strong belief in what's right and wrong. And it just carries through, even into the business world. I don't think that, I ever had a problem moving from one, like grade school to high school to college, one issue, because I was always so well prepared. But I did have a teacher at Villa, Mrs. DiNicola, and she really showed me the business world. And that really kind of got, my interest going in the business world. And to this day, I still see her. I still remember everything she taught us. They taught us that critical thinking, and they taught us that change is good. So, from that manual typewriter, I'm on the internet now doing whatever, and I'm not afraid to learn. So that's one thing I think is a good takeaway. The teachers, the parents, the students, we're just, one big family. I have 3, and they went to St. Luke, and they loved it. They loved St. Luke's. All 3 of them went there. My husband was working, and I stayed at home when they were little, and I worked nights. I worked nights at Erie Insurance to be able to afford that. And then when my youngest got to first grade, I went full-time days at Erie Insurance. So I kind of channeled my mother too, in that, I was going to do whatever it took for them to be able to be in Catholic schools. They will tell you that they were always over-prepared. They got to their respective colleges as sophomores, so that saved a whole year of tuition. They would always say they were over-prepared, and to this day, they'll tell you the same thing. When they go in the workplace, they can see the difference between the education, the structure, the work ethic of kids that have come out of that environment. So all the teachers knew them. They knew all their little different nuances. One of the teachers, my middle one of the teachers would just say to him, 825, and he'd sit still, because she was friends with me and she knew my phone number was 825. So she would just say to him, 825, and he would sit up straight. So, I think they all had a vested interest. They wanted to make sure the kids got that good education. My son is in Cincinnati, wonderful school districts there. And then I have a son here with 2 children, and then my daughter doesn't have children yet. But interestingly, my middle son who's here, both my grandchildren are at St. George. Come home every day excited to learn. And my 3-year-old grandson in Cincinnati will go to St. Columban. So they both have, seen the benefits and now are perpetuating that in their kids, which I'm thrilled about. And when I was asked to be on the board, one of the questions was, why do you want to be on the board? And I said, because I want that experience, I want that opportunity for Catholic education perpetuated for the next generation. We're asked to give our time, talent, and treasures. God gave me those time, talent, and treasures. You know, He allowed teachers and, you know, everybody in my life to help grow those talents and those skill sets. You know, it's time for me to give back and, you know, put them to good use. And it's a cause I believe in. When they called me to be on the board, I'm like, absolutely. You know, there's other things that, you know, are just as benevolent and good, but this one touches home, and I really believe in it. And I now have grandchildren that I want to see enjoy the same experience.